Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Spontaneous Brilliance Podcast. I am wanting to talk today about this question of what we're doing here, and how comfortable or uncomfortable people are with the idea that we are creating our own reality. That is a concept that even when people they're wanting to awaken to spiritual possibilities, and they know that we live in a field of infinite possibility, and they know that they are the playwrights writing the story of their life, and they know that they are having 100% response ability in the ability to respond to anything in their lives. And so they are creating what is happening, and they are offering, and they are accepting, and they are working not to block. But when it's presented in a way that it's the great stage of life is the place where we are the playwright. We are creating this reality. We are the lead characters in a story of our own creation. They don't like the idea. It doesn't feel really cool, this idea of being in a, quote, illusion. Being in a, like was said many, many years ago, I can't remember who the book is by, but anyway, in a holographic universe. I call it the great stage of life, that our soulful self, that essence of us that is pure source energy, has incarnated into a human form. In other words, that soulful self is the player playing a character here on the great stage of life. And I break it down into that kind of a metaphorical world because, one, it makes it super easy to know how to function and create a successful performance on the great stage of life, right? When we apply all these performance truisms, right, and techniques. Now, that's one. But the other reason why I utilize the metaphor is because if we talk about this as being an illusion or being a holographic universe or whatever, it makes some people terribly uncomfortable. It's about the feeling that it gives them. They don't like feeling like they are in 100% control. They have 100% responsibility. They are literally creating their experience. That feels really uncomfortable. And it's the way that they feel that is the problem. They felt more secure when this was an immutable fact. This life that we're living, this universe that we're in, was an immutable fact. This is reality, which it is. They felt more comfortable when it was the only reality we were dealing with, which it is. It is also a universe of our own creation, an illusion that we are making up as we go along for our own experiential benefit. We're here to experience. That's what we're here for. We're not here to experience only a certain array of things, but all the things that we call into our experiential field. I've said it many times. I'll say it again. If it's in your life, you brought it there. Whether you like that idea or not, you brought it there. Now, you may have brought it there because on the soul level, beyond this awareness, you knew, your soulful self knew, that you wanted to experience the struggle to transcend that obstacle, that icky thing that might be there. Or that you wanted to experience the beautiful, grace-filled, glorious experience that you're having. They are both equally valuable on the experiential level. As Shakespeare wrote in Hamlet, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. We decide the value of an experience, but we get uncomfortable with the idea that if that experience is here, nobody, nothing, no how did it to us. We created it. We're here in a time and space of our own choosing. And we're here to find the love in every experience. And we are here to share ourselves and revel in sharing the experiencing of that experience. We're here to celebrate and strive and care and courageously live every moment, conscious of our power to create or to recreate every single moment. We're not here to compete. We're here to share. As I say in the book, Spontaneous Brilliance, you're not here to compare yourself to others, but to learn to value and nurture the brilliance in yourself and all those around you. You're not here to compromise your genius, but you're here to collaborate and cooperate with the genius of others. And you're certainly not here to conform. You're here to shine along with every other human being on the planet. We are here to share our beautiful, glorious genius, our ideas, our inspirations, joyfully and playfully, and to share the world stage gracefully and peacefully with one another. Share, nurture, and shine. That's what we're here to do. That's what it's all about. So what is so uncomfortable about that? Why are we reluctant to shine? Isn't that an interesting question? Notice that I just asked why. And we know what that means. Why is an egoic-based question. Why do I do that? Why do I feel that way? Is looking for an explanation. It's looking for a justification. So let's go back to what is so uncomfortable about that instead of why. Not why are we reluctant to shine, but what is uncomfortable about believing that we have the power to create our reality, that our offers are brilliant and important and essential, that we were born for a purpose, that we are the center, the lead in the story that we are living on the great stage of life. You are the lead in this story of your own creation. What is it that's so uncomfortable about that? What is it that is uncomfortable about the notion that nothing and no one did this but you? And what you have to offer is so gorgeous. What's uncomfortable about that? It's that comfort of being able to blame it on someone else or something else outside ourselves. I mean, I chuckle at it, but we do kind of like that. We do kind of like to assign responsibility to something outside of ourselves. And we like to be able to point at what it is that is responsible that's not us for the circumstance that we're experiencing. But everything that we are experiencing is our own responsibility. And it comes down to following our desires, noticing what our heart is leaning into. That's how we know what we're here for. Yes, we're here in a story of our own creation. Yes, our imagination is a powerful tool that allows us to create and bring to fruition whatever it is that we desire. But we have to acknowledge and recognize that desire. And then we have to take those baby steps toward it. Remember that Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "There is nothing capricious in nature, and the implanting of a desire indicates that its gratification is in the constitution of the creature that feels it." If you have a desire in your heart, it is coming from your soulful self. It is coming from the essential you. That heart thing is the thing that is meant to pull us forward. How do we do that? Let me think. First, we acknowledge it, we accept it. Then we offer into it, and we don't block it. Imagine that. The admonition not to hide our light under a bushel has been around for thousands of years. What is it that we're afraid of? Whatever it is, apparently, that we're afraid of that makes us not want to stand up and shine as ourselves, to stand up and take center stage and step into the light in our own lives. Whatever that is that we're afraid of, apparently we've been afraid of it for thousands of years, because the light under your bushel thing, has been around for thousands of years. But it's not a collective thing. It's not something that we are all afraid of. We are not all afraid of the same thing. Each of us is here autonomously. starring in this play of our own creation. So what is the character that we are playing afraid of? Remember that my theater mom, Olympia Dukakis, Ollie would say, fear is boring. And I mutated that to say fear makes us boring, right? Because then we start making milquetoast choices and we try to stay away from things that we're afraid of, right? That's our beautiful protective personality trying to protect us from something that ends up protecting us from experiencing life to the fullest. Okay? There are lots of things that it's wonderful to protect ourselves from. Don't jump in front of a moving train. Important. Protect yourself from that. Don't step out into traffic. Protect yourself from that. Those things that we learn in the traffic rules that we learn, those are important things. Safety rules, okay. But we don't let the fear of stepping out into traffic stop us from going for a walk or getting anywhere near a street. But that's what we kind of do in life. So let's ask right now. Let's take a minute right now while I got you here. Just take a minute. Take a breath. Recognize for a minute. Give some space on the inner. Close your eyes if you want to. Take another breath. Give some space to what is it that I want to be, do, and share? What is it that is my passion? Some of you know it. Some of you explore it every day. Maybe you haven't allowed yourself to actually breathe into it yet, but breathe into it now. What do I truly desire? What do I want to experience? How do I want to contribute? What do I want to share? What am I here for? Now ask, what am I afraid of? Just because you're doing it, you might be doing it. You might be taking steps in the direction of your bliss. But just because you're taking steps in that direction doesn't mean that you don't have fears. So this is a moment to stop and ask, what am I afraid of? What part of the greater life that is calling me am I not stepping into? What part of my passion, of my deepest desire, am I blocking? It might be all of it. It might be a tiny little piece of it. It might be the belief that it could totally grow beyond my wildest imagination or to the limits of my imagination. What is it that I'm afraid of? And then let's ask another question. Who is the me I would be if I knew I couldn't fail? What is the thing I would do? What is the passion I would lean into? What is the desire I would lean into if I knew it would be fine? If I knew it would be wildly successful, what would I do? Now that you've noticed that and you've asked yourself that question, what's the step I'm going to take to move farther into that passion, to move toward that dream, that desire? What is the step I'm going to take? What is the step of faith that I'm going to take? Could be a leap of faith, could be a baby step of faith, but what is that step I'm going to take? Leaning into my desire, stepping into that greater life that is calling me. Martin Luther King said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And there's a quote attributed to Goethe that is, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. And Joseph Campbell said, if you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while waiting for you. And the life that you ought to be living is the one you are living. When you can see that, you begin to meet people who are in your field of bliss, and the doors will open to you. I say follow your bliss and don't be afraid, and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. That's Joseph Campbell, the man that I oft quote for saying, the privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. That's what we're here for, folks. I started this with saying, what are we here for? We're here to be, do, and share all that we came here to be, do, and share. We came here on purpose. And it's about the stepping into it. It's about the doing it, even when we're afraid. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's stepping into that thing, doing it, moving toward it, even with the fear. We got to step out in faith. I said many times that when people would talk about the creativity crisis, that we didn't have one. We can't have a crisis of creativity. We can't have a shortage of creativity. We don't have a shortage of imagination. We don't have a shortage of breathing human beings. Therefore, those things are not in shortage. We don't have a creativity crisis. What we do have is a crisis of faith in ourselves and in each other. And having that faith, having the willingness, the courage to try, to do. Remember, acting is active. Therefore, living is active. On the great stage of life, life is active. It is not to be just sitting on the couch eating Cheetos, watching somebody else live their life. You're here in a story of your own creation. Take center stage, stand in the light, and in the words of Jimmy Tripp, great acting teacher, do something, anything. Don't sit around waiting to feel. That will come or it won't, but you still need to throw yourself into the ring. You have to commit, because at the end of the day, I don't really care what you feel. I care what the audience feels. It's not about how you feel. It's about the impact of what you do. What is your impact on the world of the play, on the other characters, on the audience? That is what is critical. And that's what Jimmy Tripp said. And he was speaking to a room full of actors. We were all scared because he was yelling at us at the time. But the important point is that we are all actors on the great stage of life. In improv vocabulary, an offer that stays a thought is no offer. No matter how long you think about or feel about something, or how uncomfortable it makes you feel, if you don't do something, you're just blocking. And we break out of that by offering. Get your light out from under that bushel, right? I know it makes us uncomfortable. It makes us all uncomfortable at some time or another. Just because I talk to you about these things doesn't mean I'm not uncomfortable sometimes. All times. Lots of times. Many, many times. Okay? If I let that inner critic go, it will judge my stuff harshly, and I will get scared to put it out there. And so I surround myself with people who will slap me upside the head and help me, or hug me, depending on which thing I need, and help me get it out there. And that's what we are all here to do for one another. That's what I do every day, day in and day out. That's my work. That's what I do as a creativity specialist, and as a director, and as a teacher, and as a coach, all those things. I help people identify and express their unique creative genius. I help people hold the faith in themselves and in one another. I help people understand that everybody is here on purpose. Everybody's unique creative genius is valuable, precious, important, and powerful. You too. So no matter how uncomfortable it feels to be in complete control of the creation of your life, deal with it. Okay? Own it. Own into it. This is where the fun starts. When you start to recognize that you can make this life whatever you want it to be. You can make of it whatever you want it to be. And that's what you came here to do. All right? We are here experiencing. We are here to share ourselves and to revel in the sharing of the experiencing of that experience of sharing ourselves. We're here to celebrate and to strive and to care and to courageously live every moment conscious of our power to create every single moment. All right, my friends, That's it for this time. Let's all go out there and be, do, and share everything that we came here to be, do, and share. I am so happy that you beed here to do this and share this with me. And let's go do some more stuff, okay? And as always, if you'd like to talk to me about this, holler at me. I'm here. You know where to find me. All right. Have a beautiful, glorious, blessing-filled day, and we will talk again soon. The Spontaneous Brilliance Podcast is brought to you by Miracle Communications Group. Our producer is Michelle Oneida. Sound engineer is Corey Michaels at Corey Michaels Productions. Music is composed by Rex Miller. And I'm your host, Sandra Kavanaugh. You can learn more about me and all things Spontaneous Brilliance at sandrakavanaugh.com or spontaneousbrilliance.com. And please join the conversation here at the Spontaneous Brilliance Podcast by emailing us at podcast@spontaneousbrilliance.com.